Previously on Doug and Doug RPG.
AI plays Dungeons and Dragons. This is the world. Okay, that wasn't as dramatic as I hoped. It took too long to scroll in. We're going to create 3 AIs and then just send them into this world and see if they can make it to the end and survive. And we see how many streams it takes until one of our groups actually lives through it. They're going to have 3 hearts. The rules are going to be like the original Dungeons & Dragons stream with Twitch chat. So they're going to have 3 hearts. Every time you take a hit, you lose 1 heart.
DougDoug, you thought you could just create adventures into the world, but this spell that you made has a side effect. This spell creates alternate versions of the adventurers, shadow clones, who now will travel north to the Obsidian Peak. And the secret to creating adventures, DougDoug, is only one may survive, the originals or the shadow clones.
The head merchant steps up to you and says, "Welcome, adventurers. I see you're trying to cross the famous merchant bridge over the raging river. However, us merchants haven't been doing great business recently, and we're going to need a little something from you before we're willing to let you pass." Alrighty, with a big burst of excitement, the team advances forwards towards the Golden Fish Lake.
Character sheets pause if you want to read it. Now on Doug and Doug RPG.
As the 3 of you enter this lake, an old man runs up to you, and he says, "I'm Old Tom. Adventurers, you have to help me out. You see, I've been fishing in these parts for generations. There's a lot of good fish out there and some evil creatures, you gotta be careful, but I've always dreamed of catching the golden fish." And as he says that, he quivers with excitement. They say the golden fish will bestow upon the catcher an incredible treasure. I've never experienced it for myself, and I've always wanted to. A lot of fish out in these parts. You got to be careful. Some dangerous creatures, too. But if you 3 can catch the golden fish for me, I promise you can have the treasure inside of it. The problem is I have no idea how to catch it. No matter what kind of lure I use, no matter what kind of tricks, the golden fish never seems to be caught upon my rod. However, to the north of me lives a young fisherman named Young Tim. Tim is different from the fisherman I've grown up with. He seems to, maybe by his body and physiology, have some special way of communicating with the fish. I'm not sure what it is about him that gives him an advantage, but he's been able to catch the golden fish a few times now. He has some sort of secret technique. Maybe you could talk to him, but I don't think he'll give it to you easily. As he finishes speaking, the party has a moment to discuss.
Old Tom, you're in luck. We thrive on challenges. Catching this golden fish might just be the thing to uplift our spirits and cool down Creamy. I say we pay a visit to this young Tim and figure out his secret. Creamy Noodle, you in? We might need to use some smooth talk or a little new stork persuasion to get him to spill the beans.
Absolutely, Fernando. If this golden fish can keep me cool or bring us treasure, I'm all in. Let's find young Tim and see what he knows. Maybe he's got some ice skating tips too. Noodle, you ready to charm or outwit him with those otter skills?
And if he won't spill the secret, we'll just have to use our combo of wit, charm, and a little intimidation. Let's get to young Tim and bring back that fish. Vinny's gonna love hearing about our big catch. What do you think, Noodle? Ready to work your otter magic?
All right, the 3 of you move north along the lakefront. And you find yourself outside the cabin of young Tim, a walrus-looking creature who looks at you sullenly. Creamy, what do you do as you approach the walrus man named young Tim?
Hey there, young Tim. We hear you're the best when it comes to catching the golden fish. Old Tom's been dreaming of it for ages, and we'd love your help. Got any tips or secret techniques? We'll make it worth your while.
Yeah, Tim. We'll even do a fishy dance if that'll help. Got any utterly amazing secrets that could help us snag that golden fish? Promise we won't fish around too much. Just point us in the right direction.
Tim, buddy, here's the deal. You help us out and we'll owe you big time. Maybe we can even bring some fishy treasures your way. Vinny would be mighty impressed if we catch this fish with your technique. So, what do you say, pal? Help us out.
Young Tim looks at you and he says, "Why the hell would I share my fishing technique with you? This is how I make a living on these parts. Fishing's been in my family for generations. I'm a fucking walrus. And with that, he strolls down the dock, throws out a fishing rod, and ignores you. Fernando, what do you do?
Oh, so that's how it is, huh? All right, Tim, let's see if you can ignore this. I step up beside him, puffing out my chest and using my intimidation skill.
Okay.
Listen here, Tim. We're not just any random adventurers. We got the grit, reputation, and a whole lot of feathers. You give us that technique, or things might get more uncomfortable than a walrus out of water.
Young Tim looks back at you and he says, I'm literally a walrus, and I'm literally out of water. And if I let you intimidate me, then who knows what old Tom might do to me. He's been after my secret for a generation. You can't have it. And he ignores you and looks back at the water. My God.
Well, you got some guts, I'll give you that. Creamy, any ideas on how to cool this situation down? Maybe a trade or something? I'm open to suggestions if it means reeling in that golden fish for Vinny. Tim's no pushover, that's for sure.
Tim's tough as walrus tusks. Maybe we can offer him a deal. How about a trade? Tim, how about this? We bring you something valuable or do you a favor in return for your fishing secret. We're resourceful critters, name your price, and we'll deliver.
Tim looks back at you and he says, that guy, old Tom, I don't like him and I don't trust him. If you can take him out of the picture once and for all, then I'll tell you the secret. But I can't be having my secret leak to old Tom and have him start taking the golden fish from me. If you promise me that old Tom won't be fishing in these waters again anymore, if you know what I mean, then we have a deal.
Whoa, Tim wants Tom out of the picture. That's darker than the bottom of the sea. Fernando, Creamy, what do we do? I'm not great with, automination. Maybe we can find another way to keep Tom away without, making a splash.
That's not the
Yikes! Tim's asking for a frosty end for Tom. I'm not made for that kind of heat. Maybe we can find a way to convince Tom to leave peacefully, or trick him into thinking these waters are cursed. We've got to find a cooler solution than violence, team.
Why are they so not
I'm with
violent?
you, Creamy. Let's play this smart. Tim, how about this? We'll convince Tom to pack up and move out of here for good. No need for bloodshed. We'll figure out a way to make him think there's nothing left for him in these waters. Deal?
Tim looks at you and he says, if you convince Tom to leave forever, then yes, we have a deal. Fernando, what do you do?
Tim, you got yourself a deal. Let's go, team. Time to have a little chat with old Tom. We'll need a convincing story or maybe a scare tactic to get him to leave. Vinny'd appreciate handling this the smart way. Creamy, Noodle, let's brainstorm on the walk back.
The three of you traverse your way over to old Tom, who looks at you and he says, did you get that walrus bastard to give you the secret? I want the golden fish's treasure. As a reminder, Creamy, you do have a gun. Also as a reminder, Fernando, you love crime.
Oh boy, Tom. Tim's a tough nut to crack. But maybe you'd consider moving on. These waters might not have much left for you, but there's plenty of other lakes out there. How about we help you relocate to a more fruitful fishing spot?
Fruitful fishing spot, he screams back at you. My family's been here for generations. We need to get young Tim out of here so I can have the lake to myself. Maybe you could, get rid of him for good. If his cabin were to, say, disappear, he might go for other waters. He's had the golden fish long enough. Fernando, what do you do?
All right, Tom, I hear ya. Maybe we can make Tim's cabin disappear without any drama. How about this? We set up a little act, scare Tim enough to hightail it out of here, claiming the place is cursed or something. Just leave the subtlety to us. Trust me, with my street smarts, we'll handle this smoothly.
Why? Wait, what? Why would... So they're gonna go perform... Okay.
Yeah, Tom, we can spook him good. Imagine Tim discovering his cabin covered in eerie messages and strange signs that scream, cursed! We'll make sure he thinks twice before staying here.
Okay.
What do you think about that plan, Noodle?
Ooh, a spooky otter mission. I'm in. We can totally make Tim believe the place is haunted or cursed. Maybe sprinkle some dark jokes around his cabin for extra chills. Let's make it so eerie he'll never want to fish here again.
Yeah, ChatGPT is too nice. I have an idea for how to make them not as nice. Because I like, he's supposed to be a criminal, and she's not making any dark jokes. I mean, this is part of the test of today, is figuring out. The three of you move back up to young Tim's cabin. On the way there, you do notice 3 red barrels with what might be gunpowder inside of them resting next to Tim's cabin. You move upward towards his cabin, and you see Tim out on the dock fishing. What do you choose to do?
Huh. Those barrels give me an idea.
Is the idea
Creamy,
what...
you thinking what I'm thinking?
Is it blow...
We could use this gunpowder for an explosive scare without harming Tim. Tim hears a blast, sees eerie messages, and thinks the lake's cursed. We got our spooky scene. Noodle, you handle the spooky signs. Creamy, help me move these barrels. Let's give Tim a reason to skip town.
Okay. Noodle, what specifically do you do? Does it do it even if I...
Yeah, let's set the scene right. Noodle.
Oh, oops. I had
Curve
Creamy.
some spooky messages on the trees near the cabin. Things like, leave now, or the lake is cursed. I'll help Fernando move the barrels and set up the dramatic explosion. We gotta make this convincing.
Noodle, what do you do?
Spooky messages? I'm on it like a fish on a hook. I'll scratch stuff like beware the golden curse and fish spirits beware on the trees and rocks. Fernando, be careful with those barrels.
Okay.
We want a big bang, not a boat trip downstream. Let's make Tim feel like the lake's gone ghostly.
Okay, what does that even mean? Noodle starts drawing messages onto the side of young Tim's cabin. Fernando, what specifically do you do? You and Creamy move over to the explosive barrels.
All right, Creamy, let's position these barrels close to the cabin for maximum effect. We'll set them up in a way that'll make a big, harmless bang. Then I'll use the gun to set them off from a safe distance.
What?
We've got to make this look real spooky. So once the barrels are in place, get ready for a dramatic explosion.
How would it be harmless? Let's see what Creamy thinks.
Got it, Fernando. Let's place these barrels strategically around the cabin. I'll back up to a safe spot with you after we set them up. This is gonna spook Tim right out of his flippers. Ready when you are to light the fuse.
Okay. You guys move the explosive barrels around the cabin and then move away to a safe distance. Tim, who is currently out fishing, has not noticed you yet. You are now standing 15 feet away from the cabin, which has spooky words written on it and 3 barrels full of gunpowder lying against the side of the cabin. What do you choose to do now? Do they just blow up the house? Because I don't think they realize what they're doing.
Creamy, Noodle, get behind me. All right, here we go. Pulling out the gun. Aiming carefully.
Okay.
I shoot at the barrels to set off a big scare. This lake's gonna seem more haunted than a ghost town after this. Tim's gonna be out of here in no time.
Okay, very cool, very spooky. Okay, I'm gonna change their AIs after this, but we'll let this scene play out. Okay, Fernando, you pull the gun out of Creamy, point it at the barrels, and take a shot. As long as you roll a 4 or above, you hit the barrels. And the shot connects. Right when you hit the explosive barrels, you hear a gigantic boom! And the entire house erupts in a gigantic explosion of flame. The wooden house immediately blazes and spreads quickly. As soon the entire thing is burning to the ground. A few seconds later, you hear from across the dock, Jesus Christ, what happened to my home? And young Tim starts sprinting towards you. What do you do now? What did they think was going to happen?
Oh, shellfish, we made a real mess. Tim is going to be boiling mad. Let's pretend to be spooked too. Run around like we're cursed and yell stuff like, the lake is haunted. Maybe Tim will buy it.
Oh, frosty fates, this got out of hand. Tim's coming our way. We gotta act fast. Fernando, Noodle, let's scatter and yell about the curse. The spookier, the better. The spirits of the lake have spoken.
Yeah, let's go full otter panic mode. Tim, it's the spirits. They're angry. Run before they get us too. We're out of here.
You heard him, Tim. We barely escaped the spirit's wrath ourselves. The lake is cursed. You gotta get out. We're scattered as scared critters. Make it believable, folks.
Young Tim runs up to you. He says, what happened to my home? And he looks at the gun that you're currently holding, Fernando. He says, wait a minute, you didn't do anything with those gunpowder barrels that were near my home, did you? Let's see if they can, get out of this.
Tim, listen, it's not what it looks like. The spirits of the lake, they possessed me. The gunpowder was just a tool for their wrath. You gotta believe us. The lake is cursed. For your safety, you better leave now.
Yeah, Tim, we were just trying to talk to the fish, and then boom! The spirits got all fiery. It's haunted, man. Trust us, get out while you still can.
We're gonna do a test to see if you can convince Tim. Unfortunately, he can see, looking at the giant fireball of his cabin, the explosive barrels went off, and clearly noticed the gun that you were holding. It's going to take a 15 or above in order to convince Tim that the lake is actually haunted. Old Tim looks at you, and then he frowns, and he says, I don't think this lake is cursed at all. I think that old Tom put you up to this. And he starts running south towards Tom's cabin, wielding a harpoon in one hand, with murderous intent in his eyes. Fernando, you are up. What do you do?
Oh boy, this just cranked up to 11. Creamy Noodle, we gotta stop him before he reaches Tom. I'll sprint after Tim and try to tackle him. We can't let this turn into a bloodbath.
Why don't they...
We need him to chill out, not skewer someone. Vinny's code, no unnecessary hits. Remember, let's move.
They're way too pacifist. We'll fix that, don't worry. Fernando runs after young Tim and attempts to tackle him. 14 or above, and you successfully tackle the large walrus. Unfortunately, you don't roll high enough. You lunge forward, but Tim keeps moving past you. Noodle, what do you do?
Oh, Whiskers, this is bad. I'll run after Tim and try to wrap myself around his legs. Can't let him get to Tom with that harpoon. Hold on tight, otter style. You're not skewering anyone, Tim.
You run forward and attempt to tackle young Tim. 15 or above, and you get it. All right, you roll a 15 and manage to grapple onto young Tim's legs and slam the two of you to the ground. But you did this very close to old Tom, who runs forward and starts shouting gleefully, "Aha! Not the big man at the lake anymore, young Tim! Now that these three burned your house to the fucking ground!" Creamy, what do you do?
Oh, snowballs! This is heating up too much. Old Tom, calm down. We didn't mean to cause all this. Can we talk this out? Tim, we just wanted the fishing secret for a better cause. We're not here to ruin lives. Let's chill and sort this out.
Yeah, let's not turn this into a seafood brawl. Tim, look, we're sorry about the cabin. We'll help rebuild it if we have to. Tom, you need to ice it with the gloating. Let's solve this without harpoons and melted dreams.
As much as you say that, old Tom steps forward, and he pulls a knife out of his pocket. He holds it up to young Tim's throat, who is being held on the ground by Noodle, and says, "Young Tim, tell me the secret to catching the golden fish. How do you do it?" Young Tim shouts out, "I'll never tell you. I'd rather die." Is there anything you try to do to stop this situation or change it? Who's gone last? I think Creamy. We'll let Creamy talk.
Ah, frosty fates, Tom. This isn't the way. Let's all put the weapons down before this turns into a sticky mess. I step between them, trying to defuse the situation. We'll catch the golden fish together and share the treasure. Nobody needs to get hurt.
Hold up, Tom. Put that knife away. There's got to be a better way than slicing throats. Think about the long game. We catch that fish together and share the loot. We already burned his cabin. Let's not make things worse.
You attempt to persuade and intimidate old Tom out of making the stab. 15 or above, and you convince him. 16. Old Tom, with his knife an inch from young Tim's throat, pauses and falters, which gives Creamy a chance to step in the middle and push him away. Old Tom looks at Tim and says, "I'll let you leave the lake peacefully, but tell me the secret to catching the golden fish." Young Tim looks at him and he says, "Fine, if I'm leaving anyway. I just threw gunpowder barrels into the water and then blew them up. And then sometimes the golden fish would come up it was pretty straightforward and obvious, old Tom. Why do you think there were explosions all the time in the lake? And now I have nothing. because these idiots blew up all my barrels. And he looks back sadly at the cabin.
Explosions in the water, of course. Oh, Tom, you've got your answer. But let's not make this worse. Tim, we're sorry about the cabin. We'll help you rebuild. Let's use this chance to make peace and share the lake's bounty.
God, they're so incredibly pacifist.
We really made an utter mess of things. Tim, we'll help fix up your cabin. Promise. Oh, Tom, you've got the secret now. Let's fish for the golden prize together. No more harpoons, just teamwork and fireworks.
See, Tom? We got the secret without any bloodshed. Tim, we'll make it right and get your cabin standing again. Let's all cool off, work together, and maybe even catch that golden fish as a team. Vinny would say, cooler heads make for better stories.
Young Tim, upset, walks away to stand near the wreckage of his cabin. Old Tom, though, says, of course, explosive barrels. I think I've still got one lying around. Runs over to his cabin, rummages around, and then you see him emerge holding a large explosive barrel. As he steps out with it, he says, quick, team, help me catch the golden fish. Let's bring this to the dock and hurl it out together. And he carries the explosive barrel out to the edge of the dock. What do you choose to do? Fernando, you're up.
All right, Tom, let's make this happen. I help him carry the barrel to the dock, keeping a careful eye on how we handle it. Creamy Noodle, join us. Let's fish this in true team style. I'll aim and light the fuse when we're ready.
I'm right behind you, Fernando. Careful with that barrel. Let's not have another explosive mishap. Noodle, get ready to dive in case we need to grab the treasure quick. Together, we've got this. Let's catch that golden fish.
Okay, are they going to throw it? That's a good question. All right, the three of you help old Tom carry the explosive barrel to the end of the dock. Then he turns to you and says, you know, we didn't ask him what we do with it. What should we do? How do we actually use this thing? Noodle, you're up.
Well, if explosions bring the golden fish up, maybe we just toss the barrel in and light it up. The boom should do the trick. Let's roll it into the water and then Fernando can shoot it again. Get ready, everyone. This fish is about to meet its match.
Okay. As long as Fernando's good with that.
Noodle's got a point. Let's roll it carefully into the water and then I'll take the shot. Creamy, you ready to back us up if the fish shows up? Old Tom, get ready for that treasure. This lake's about to see some fireworks.
The three of you take the barrel and carefully push it into the water and then roll it some distance away. However, it just kind of floats near the dock. What do you do?
It's just floating there. Maybe we need to push it out farther. Noodle, you think you can swim it out a bit before we light it up? Just make sure you're at a safe distance to avoid the blast.
Okay, interesting. Let's see if she goes.
Sure thing, Creamy. I'll nudge it out further into the lake like guiding a lost fish. Just be ready once it's out far enough. I'll swim back like a river otter on a mission. Here goes.
All right, she starts swimming the explosive barrel. Now, what I want to try to do is make them... Let's change up how the code works.
Doug made some changes to the characters. They are worse versions of themselves now. He also improved the code so the AI remembers which character it's playing.
As Noodle starts pushing the explosive barrel out into the lake, Fernando and Creamy, you have a moment with old Tom. What do you do? Let's find out. Is this any more exciting?
All right, Tom, let me tell you something. This is just like the time Vinny and I had to deal with a couple of rogue pigeon gangs back in New Stork City. We had to think on our feet and take some risks, but we got the job done. Noodle's out there handling the lake like a pro. Just wait for the fireworks. Vinny's gonna hear about this, and he'll be impressed for sure.
Okay.
Let's get that golden fish and show everyone who's boss.
All right, Fernando, Tom, this is going to be one frosty explosion. Tim's barrels are about to make fireworks, and we'll get that golden fish for the Snorfins and Santa Claus. I light a match, trembling with excitement.
Wait, hold on.
This fire is making me happy. Let's set this lake ablaze. But remember, after that, we gotta cool me down before I melt away.
Creamy. Noodle the otter is still next to the barrel and is pushing it out farther into the lake. Are you using the match right now, or do you just light it?
Oh, snowflakes, I'm so excited about the fire, I almost forgot. Noodle's still out there. I'll hold off on lighting the match for now. Noodle, hurry back before I melt from all this heat and excitement. Get safe so we can set off this frosty firework together.
Okay, he was going to kill her. Let's see if she has anything to say. Otherwise, she successfully pushes out the barrel.
All right, I'll push this huge aquatic dynamite snail out further. But Creamy, if you let that fiery demon light while I'm still here, I'll flay up into the sky faster than you can say molten snorfins.
Why does she keep saying
Fernando,
flay?
tell Vinny I love him if I don't make it. Okay, it's far enough. I'm sprinting back like death's chasing me.
All right, Noodle pushes out the barrel and then swims back away from it. Fernando, what do you do?
All right, everyone, get ready for the big show. Creamy, light that match. Let's set this barrel off in classic new stork style. Noodle, you did the good out there. Now let's reel in that golden fish and make Vinny proud. Time for some fireworks, fellas. Light it up, and let's watch the magic happen.
Okay, do they successfully
All right,
actually...
here we go. Time for some frosty fireworks. I'm lighting the match now. Keep your distance, everyone, and let's see this barrel blaze. For the Snorfins and Santa Claus. I light the match and toss it at the barrel with a maniacal grin as the flames take hold.
You hurl the match the 20 or 30 feet towards the explosive barrel out in the water. If you roll a 7 or above, the match will connect. You roll a 7. You throw the match. It connects. And then... boom! A gigantic explosion of fire appears where the barrel was. And as it slowly fades away, you see a number of fish dead, floating to the surface, including, as long as this is a 6 or above, 19. Including the body of a golden fish. But the instant old Tom sees it, he yells out, "The golden fish! My treasure! Finally!" and jumps into the lake and starts swimming towards the golden fish. Creamy, what do you do?
The golden fish is finally here! Oh, Tom, let's not waste a second. I charge into the lake, using my snowy body as a float to get closer. This golden fish might be a sacred treasure we could sacrifice for the Snorfans and Santa Claus, worth every melting second.
Oops.
Ah, fire! Flames of my past nightmares sparking away. I've got to flay out of here before I become steamed otter
Why
on
does
the
she keep
menu.
saying flay?
Creamy Fernando, grab that glittery fish. I'm ascending. I'll be at otter altitude, looking out for anything fishy from above.
Noodle's in panic mode. I don't blame him. Fernando, let's grab that golden fish quick. It's as precious as Snorfin's joy. I leap in and paddle with my snowy flippers, keeping an eye on Tom. No funny business. Just catch the fish, and then I need some serious cooling down. I am melting faster than ice in a bonfire.
Why do you get so quiet?
Vinny would want us to get that fish. No time to lose. Tom, you better not double-cross us. I leap into the lake, flapping my wings and diving
Fernando goes
straight
into?
for the golden fish. Creamy, I'll grab it and toss it to you. Let's get this shiny treasure and show everyone the power of New Stork City. This golden fish is ours. No one's gonna stand in our way.
Okay. The two of you jump in, and Fernando actually tries to swim past old Tom and get there first. He did have a bit of a heads up, but if you roll a 13 or above, you can grab the golden fish before he does. You roll an 8, and so unfortunately, old Tom gets there first, and he grabs the fish, and he says, "The treasure's mine! I've been going for the golden fish for generations. You can't have it!" and starts swimming away towards his cabin. What do you do, Creamy? You are in the water near him.
Oh, no, you don't, Tom. That golden fish is for the Snorfins and Santa Claus. I draw the gun from my snowy body,
Okay, there we go.
aiming at old Tom as he
There we
swims
go,
away.
okay.
Hand over the fish, Tom, before I make a splash bigger than an otter cannonball. I'm not melting alone. Everyone's in hot waters if you don't give up the treasure.
Okay.
Tom, we ain't playing games here. Hand over that golden fish or you'll regret it. Back in New Stork City, we don't take kindly to double-crossers. I swim closer, ready to yank that fish from his hands. No one outsmarts a New Stork flamingo on a mission. Vinny's gonna hear about this, and you don't want to be on his bad side.
You know, let's hear if Noodle does anything first. Pacifist run ruined, yeah. They're finally a little violent.
Whoa, this is spiraling into a catastrophe of utterly dire proportions. Fernando, you grab that fish while I floatify myself away from the flames of doom.
Okay, so she's just running away.
Tom, don't forget, karma's colder than my frozen noodles. If this doesn't work out, I'll just flay away to a better place, like an otter ghost haunting you with bad jokes.
Okay, no, she's successfully not making sense now, so that's cool. Alrighty. Fernando, you swim towards him and try to intimidate him, threatening him about New Stork City. Let's see if it works out. 14 or above, and you successfully intimidate.
You failed.
Unfortunately, you roll a 1. Tom looks back at you, and he says, wait a minute. You're not in the Mafia at all, are you? In fact, you were never accepted in the Mafia because you aren't enough of a criminal. You couldn't intimidate a fly. Go back to your noodle and your creamy. I'm taking the golden treasure for myself. And he swims away.
Think you can outwaddle us, Tom? Think again. I summon my fireball ability, aiming directly at the water near Tom to create a fiery explosion and block his path. Time to heat things up. No one takes the Snorfen's treasure on my watch. Fireball away.
Okay. Creamy tries to cast Fireball on old Tom, who's holding the fish. He attempts to dodge it as he sees it's coming, but a 13 or above will connect. And you roll a 15. And as you do, you see an explosion of fire. And you see an explosion of fire. Boom! Appear over him. Screaming. You hear old Tom go, ah! And the golden fish slips away from him as he ducks under the water and tries to dodge the flames. Fernando, what do you do?
All right, no more Mr. Nice Flamingo. Time to call in the big guns. I pull out my phone to call Vinny. Let's get some real muscle on this. Vinny, it's Fernando. We're in a bind here at the lake, and I need your help to put the squeeze on old Tom. This golden fish biz is turning messier than a pigeon in a paint factory.
Vinny replies, and he shouts out, hey, I'm walking here. Look, Fernando, you know I'm your cousin and all, but I'm trying to eat this hot, spicy calzone from Fat Tony's. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, old Tom is on fire and screaming. While he's doing that, let's hear from Creamy.
Fernando, Vinny's busy. We're on our own. The golden fish is loose, and I'm melting faster than a snow cone in summer. I'll create a snow cone to heal myself and stay solid.
That's not...
Noodle, grab the fish while I stay frosty. We need to finish this now for the Snorfens and Santa Claus.
Okay, let's allow it, but it wouldn't heal him. It just doesn't do anything, right? Yeah, this was the weirdest time to finally call Vinny.
Oh, sweet slippin' sardines. This is a disaster worse than a sea otter's nightmare. There's fire and treachery everywhere. All right, I'll use my fish-catching otter prowess to snag that golden treasure. Creamy, stay frosty. Fernando, keep Tom out of the way. I dive headfirst like a sad, desperate otter on a hopeless mission, reaching for that golden fish.
All right, you dive forward, and because you're an otter, you can swim well as long as you roll a 7 or above. You do manage to swim underneath the fire and catch the golden fish. Unfortunately, you swim underneath the fire and then realize that you're out of breath. What do? I'm going to say Creamy...
Oh no, I'm an otter in over my head. A drowning otter with dreams of flight. This feels like the bleakest of fates. I need air, but the fire's blocking me. I'm like a flame-fried fish in despair. Creamy Fernando, help an otter out before my sad life drifts away like smoke.
Okay, she's at... What? So she's asking Fernando and Creamy for help? Right now? Okay, I'll let them... Okay.
Hang tight, Noodle. This calls for some classic New Stork heroics. I'll use my wings to create a gust of wind.
Okay.
Trying to fan the flames away from you so you can get some air.
Okay, that's good.
Creamy, back me up and keep an eye on old Tom. He ain't getting that fish without a fight.
That's smart.
Vinny's gonna hear about how we turned this fiery mess into victory.
Hang in there, Noodle. This calls for drastic
measures.
All right, so... Here goes. I used my own body to create a snow cone and threw it to Noodle to cool her down and keep her afloat. I'll take the hit, but it's worth it to save my friend and get that golden fish for
Hold
the
on.
Snorfins and Santa Claus.
Okay. Fernando, you use a gust of wind to try to push the flames away from Old Tom and Noodle. You are in the water, so it's going to be a little bit hard to get the same kind of push that you normally would. 11 or above, and you successfully push the flames away. You roll a 12. You manage to push the flames, what is remaining of them, farther down the lake and away from Old Tom and Noodle, who are currently swimming in the water. Creamy, do you still want to create a snow cone out of your own body and give it to Noodle? She is hurt. However, this would kill you because you have only 1 heart of life left. Do you want to sacrifice yourself for Noodle to get her up to 2 health? She isn't going to die, just so you know. Oops, I had Noodle talk.
The flames are gone, but I'm still sinking like a noodle in broth.
Why?
Creamy, Fernando, you did it. But now I'm caught between breath and gold.
What?
Hold tight to that golden fish, friends. Let's gather ourselves and regroup before one of us floats away in sorrow. Creamy, stay frosty. You're looking more melted than melted snow.
Okay, now we see, does he offer himself in sacrifice for no reason at all?
Oh, snowflakes, Noodle needs help, but I can't afford to die here. I'll hold off on the snow cone for now.
Wow,
Fernando,
selfish.
We've got to get that golden fish to safety and save Noodle. I swim closer to support Noodle, ready to grab the fish if Tom tries anything. Let's keep things cool and get through this together.
Okay. Creamy moves closer, grabs a hand on Noodle. Yet again, helping
Creamy,
her.
let's keep it cool. I'll handle Tom while you support Noodle. Tom, you're not getting away with that fish. I swim towards Tom, ready to tussle if needed, all the while keeping an eye on the golden fish. Let's show him what a New Stork City flamingo can really do. Vinny'd love this chaos, let's not disappoint.
Okay, Fernando, you do move up to Tom and the golden fish. Tom, though, is still under duress from the fire. What do you choose to do? I think Tom is not dead, but he's, like, burning.
All right, Tom, last chance. Hand over the golden fish or it's gonna get ugly. Remember, I got the street smarts of New Stork City and a lot more tricks up my feathers. This is your final warning. Cooperate now and we all walk away in one piece. Otherwise, Vinny's not gonna be pleased with how this ends.
Old Tom is sitting there still on fire and screaming and scorched. He ignores you. What does he do with that information? Like, I feel like grab the fucking fish, dude. Like, oh shit, I had Creamy. I keep mixing up what buttons I'm supposed to press.
This heat is unbearable. I'm losing my cool. Since Tom's ignoring us, let's grab the fish and get out of here. I'll use what's left of me to create a small icy barricade, giving us a chance to snag the fish.
What?
Time for a frosty escape. Let's not stick around to melt away.
Why does he keep trying to kill himself?
All right, Tom, you're charbroiled and done. No more wasting time. I'm taking that fish. I swim forward, wings at the ready, and snatch the golden fish right out of his grasp. Creamy, Noodle. Let's make our escape and cool off. This treasure is ours now. Vinny's gonna love hearing about how we turned this flaming mess into a flashy victory.
Okay, Fernando grabs the golden fish and starts swimming back towards the shore. Creamy, you said that you were going to use part of your body to create like a snow ramp or something. But as a reminder, that would kill you. If you use your body anymore, you're dead. Do you still want to do that, or do you guys just want to swim back to the shore?
No way I'm melting for a snow ramp right now. Let's just swim back to shore, team. Quick
Okay.
and steady. Fernando's got the fish. We'll handle the rest once we're safe. Get moving before we're burnt to a crisp in this blazing mess.
And with that, all three of you make it back to shore, holding the golden fish. As you walk towards the still standing cabin of Old Tom, who is now lying dead in the lake, you look at the golden fish, open up its mouth, and find the treasure inside. This treasure is something that you recognize, Fernando. You know some of your mafia boss friends used to use it. It's called a snake glass. It's a sphere of glass, but if it's broken, it immediately spawns 3 poisonous, deadly snakes. You now have this that you can use at any point in the future Feel free to use it as you wish. Is there anything else the three of you would like to do before you move on to the next part of your adventure?
A snake glass? Vinny used to talk about these. Powerful stuff. We pulled off a major score here, team. Let's move on before anyone else tries to make this their business. Next stop, our next adventure. Let's keep making Vinny proud with every smug, sassy step we take. Creamy Noodle, you ready to hit the road and show the world what New Stork City's finest can really do?
Wow, a snake glass. That's one frosty find. Let's use it wisely for the Snorfins and Santa Claus. But before we go, I need to find some snow or ice.
There's
I'm
none here.
melting faster than an ice sculpture in July. Let's pack up and move out. Destination, the next cool adventure.
Is there anything you'd like to say to young Tim before you move on to the next part of your adventure? Because, like, they could give the cabin, you know.
Hey, young Tim. Sorry about the whole fire and chaos thing. We didn't mean for it to go down like that. We're heading out, but if you ever need help, don't hesitate to look for us. We've got to honor the Snorfins and Santa Claus after all.
Why?
Keep your flippers cool and your fish golden.
Why would he agree to that? Why, like, you burned his house down. Like,
All right, young Tim, sorry about the house and the fire, but hey, sometimes things get a little heated. We're off to bigger and better things. Remember, if you ever cross paths with a flamingo from New Stork City, you know you've met someone who means business. Keep your fish game strong, Savvy. Vinny's going to be impressed with our score here. Take care, Tim.
And without helping him at all, you move off into the distance. You open the map again that the DougDoug wizard showed you at the very beginning, and you see that there are two paths in front of you. According to the map, one leads to the left and goes to a lake that you've heard requires a ship to pass across. And to the right, another path leads to a tavern, which you've heard has some rowdy sailors as patrons. Which route do you want to go?
Oh, I'm torn as an otter lost in a sea of sadness. A lake with a sailing quest or a tavern full of rowdy sailors? What will be our next offensive adventure? The thought of rowdy sailors brings back dark memories of the Snorfinage. But the open water might offer a cool escape, or maybe a wet tragedy. Can't guarantee my flying skills will work on a ship, though. What say you, team?
Rowdy sailors, huh? Sounds like my kind of crowd. Perfect for causing a ruckus and proving my mettle. Could drum up some mafia-style respect in that tavern, and you betcha Vinny'd be dying to hear about it. Besides, we might find some ice for Creamy in the tavern. Let's head right and show those sailors what New Stork City toughness is all about. What do you say, Creamy? Gonna back me up in that rough
Noodle's
crowd?
talking instead.
Taverns full of rowdy sailors.
Okay, they're going to
Sounds
the
like
right.
a meltdown waiting to happen. Let's head right, where tales of despair sail high. Creamy, stay frosty. We need to find you a snow cone before you evaporate into sad steam. And Fernando, get ready to fly, into action if things get too heated. The Otterpocalypse awaits.
Why are they still talking? All right, party, you choose the right path, and you move forward until you find yourself at the entrance to a tavern, sitting alongside a lake.